Believe it or not, colored duct tape is my secret weapon to helping my students become more independent and successful in the barn, and especially my students that might have different physical, cognitive, or emotional needs. So I want to share with you different ways that you can utilize colored duct tape around the barn, how it is going to help you communicate better as an instructor, and then we're also going to talk about the reasons why something as simple as colored duct tape actually works and is a wonderful way to help you communicate better and set your students up for more independence and more success. My name is Sabra Popoli. I'm the owner and founder of Hoof Falls and Footfalls, and through Hoof Falls and Footfalls, I help to educate, equip, and encourage fellow adaptive horseback riding instructors around the globe. And not only do I help encourage and educate fellow instructors, but I also educate students. So I teach lessons myself. I teach both traditional lessons and adaptive, or also called therapeutic, horseback riding lessons. So I work with a very wide range of ages and abilities of students. And a lot of my students have very unique physical, cognitive, and emotional abilities. So one of the things that I have found throughout the years that I absolutely cannot live without now is colored duct tape. And I'm gonna go ahead and take you into my barn and show you how I tactfully use this tacky tape to set my students up for being able to do things on their own, and usually do more things than most instructors or even their parents or caregivers think that they can do. So let's go take a look inside our barn. All right, we are inside my little humble tack room. It is still summertime here in Arizona. So congratulations, you might get to see me start to glisten and grow a sweat mustache because it is hot. But let's take a look at how the duct tape is my secret weapon to helping my students be more independent when they are learning how to go get the tack and the equipment for their horse and learn how to get things on their own. Because, especially in adaptive horsemanship, so groundwork and riding, just because a student is either a certain age or has a certain physical or cognitive or emotional diagnosis doesn't mean that they are not capable or that we shouldn't try to get them to be as independent as possible. So let's say, for example, we're getting Jackson ready, and Jackson's color is green. So the student usually comes in knowing their colors. That's a lot of basics, life skills that most students, even adaptive riding, come in knowing. So we know green, and they're going to be told to come find the green items for Jackson. So I have the bonus of having green bucket and the blue and the pink as well that are going to go along with it. But what's really neat about the green tape pack, or the color tape pack, is you can also put it on your grooming tools. This is the dark green. I haven't swapped this over to the neon green yet because this is the old color tape I had on last season. But you can even label all of your grooming items for that horse so it goes back in to their specific bucket. So then from the grooming bucket, we can also go up and we see, oh look, there's Mr. Jackson's headstall because we have the green tape on there. And little bonus, you could even wrap tape around it if you can't find a colored one. But look, even when my headstall's off, I know where it goes back because it's green. So I have a green bridle hook that matches. But if that is something that you don't have, you can always use your tape to mark wherever the storage item or the storage place is for the item that you're looking to put back. So here's Jackson's saddle rack. So they're prompted to go find the green saddle rack. Here's his green girth. And then, might be a little hard to see, but as I whack myself in the face with it, his billet strap of his saddle is labeled green as well. So everything is green for Jackson. And then as we come out, and if we're getting our halter and our lead rope, oh, by the way, my student knows which one of these halters belongs to their horse because, again, of the labeling here, and even the lead rope has that green tape on it. So why does this color tape method work? Well, one of the main reasons is that colors are a kind of everyday life skill that students come in knowing. And they're able to process the colors usually a lot better, and it's gonna make a lot more sense to them than the verbal instructions of go find the bridle or go find the halter and it looks like XYZ. Also, it helps them to visually pinpoint and direct their attention towards what they actually need to find. So if you're a new horse person who doesn't know what the heck a bridle is, these all look the same to you. And so for me saying, well, it's the one on the far right hand side and it has the red, white, and blue reins and blah, 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 that's a lot of words, right? So if I tell them, well, it's the black bridle and look for the green marker, that draws their attention to that specific item and it helps them sort through all of this extra sensory input and visual input. So colors, being able to direct their attention. And then the other reason why it works so well too is because what do we teach from the time babies are little all the way up through kindergarten, middle school, right, is color sorting. So putting things together and grouping them by colors, and this is why the dark green and the light green still work until I get it all the same color. But we are taught from the very first months of our lives to start to identify and sort and group colors. So it's something that logically makes sense, and it's something that is practiced over and over and over beyond the barn. So I'm gonna steal that life skill that is hopefully already kind of being built into my student, and I'm gonna apply it here in the barn and build off of that life skill to help them be more independent and pick up things more quickly on their own. You might be absolutely shocked at what your rider is able to do, especially our students that you might think have, or really do have, slower processing time. They don't listen to instructions great. They might be non-talkers or maybe limited verbal communication. But when we set them up for success with things like the colored tape, tactfully used around the barn, and in a way that makes sense and not overdone, that's a warning, it is absolutely amazing how independent your students can be. So I hope the colored duct tape tip works. Let me know if you organize your barn or your tack or your equipment in that way. And yes, I know some of you guys might want to come after me and yell at me for putting duct tape on my tack, but you know what? The pros of using the colored duct tape to set my students up for success and independence totally outweighs the, you know, the taboo and the downside of putting the tape on my tack and my equipment. I still clean underneath of it, I take care of it, I do equipment check, but it's worth it to me to give that opportunity to my students. So totally worth it. Some people ask, well, you know, why don't you use tags or something along those lines? And that is because I have found that the tags, one, usually are more expensive. Two, they fall off and they're just a pain in the butt to get on things, and they're not always able to be put in the most easily to find location. They're also very tempting for our students to play around and pull on and play with. And then when it comes to things like the girth or even the saddle, and especially head stalls, that tag can move around and dangle a lot. And it's just something that I don't want flapping around on my horse's face. Not that it's gonna scare the horse, but that's just an annoying thing that I don't want my horse to have to put up with. I wouldn't want it dangling on my face. So that is why I opt for duct tape over tags. If you are really, really anti-tape, you can maybe try to find a really good, nice leather paint and leather sealer. However, the reason why I don't do something that permanent is because if I have to change tack and equipment as horses come in or out of my program, or tack, you know, changes and it doesn't fit and I have to use it on a different horse or whatever it is, I like the flexibility of being able to pull that tape off, refresh it as I need, clean under the tack, put a new color on or the same color on, whatever I need to do, and not have to strip off like permanent type of leather paint or anything along those lines. So I hope this is helpful. Let me know if you use something like this in your barn, and post some pictures or comments of how you use it down below. I'd love to see. And I know other instructors that listen and watch the channel here and are on Facebook and might see the short clips also enjoy hearing comments and feedback from other instructors like you guys. So remember to like and subscribe and share no matter where you're listening or watching from. Follow me on Facebook, lots of fun stuff going on over there. Follow me on YouTube. I've got a podcast wherever you listen to podcasts at, search for Hoof Falls and Footfalls. And then you can also find out more information about everything I offer through Hoof Falls and Footfalls at my website, hooffallsandfootfalls.com.